Hello, hello. Welcome back to COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky on 93.9 FM. I'm Matt.
And as far as I know, I'm Jeff. Hey, man, look at you, man. I barely even recognize you.
I don't know who you are. I haven't seen you.
I know. It's been forever. I mean, I had posters all around town. I was like, does anybody know where Matt is?
Now, you...
Reward, wanted, dead or alive? Because I was okay with dead. I mean, look, I just wanted to get you back, dead or alive.
As long as you could get my body.
That's right.
I know how you work.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
but you sound weird in my headphones.
You sound weird in my headphones. Am I turned up over there? How is my meter?
How's your meter? Let's see.
Yeah, you sound glorious in my headphones.
Oh, you know what the problem is?
What? Oh, there I am.
Yeah, the problem is you weren't even on.
I have not been mic'd.
I had microphone 1.
So let's do a proper
microphone
intro.
check. 1, 2.
Proper
1, 2.
intro. Welcome to COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky on 93.9 FM. I am Matt.
And I am Jeff.
Now, you've done a few shows without
We
me.
did a show without you.
Oh, it's just
Jason and I. And then we're going to do another one. And I was just like in one of those funks.
Yeah.
And I just, I don't want Jason to think that it was because of him. It's not you. It's me. And I was in a bad funk.
You can say it. You can say it's not you. It's that you're not Matt.
And he caught me because I was like, I got personal stuff. I couldn't do it. And then I went over to Ethereal, and lo and behold, there was Jason at Goodfellas playing that outdoor
the bags,
bocce ball or whatever, bags or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, I felt nabbed.
Cornhole,
I felt like I've been caught skipping school or something. I was like, dude, I know.
You're such an a-hole.
I am, because
you're the hole of all A's.
It was just, I was in this funk. I just couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I felt bad about it. Jason was great, and I thought we did I actually went back and listened to that show. We put it on SoundCloud, and I thought it was a good show.
I actually, I don't know if you mentioned it. I tried to call. I was going to call in. I thought it would have been hilarious if I just talked trash to you guys. I ended up getting busy.
We were in Bosnia, right?
Yeah, I was killing Taliban, but I got busy, so I couldn't call in. But I was actually in range for the
busy. Is that what they call it these days?
Yeah, well, I'm always getting busy, man. But I was in range of the connection, whatever, so I could actually tune in for the last 5 minutes.
Oh, last 5 minutes.
But I did catch you where you say you're throwing up wanted posters and stuff like that. So I was going to try to throw a wanted poster together real quick, but it's hard to see those on the radio. But I've been super busy.
We got the camera going.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's like 2 or 3 shows that have never been shared.
I know.
That have been
filmed. I'm finally slowing down to the point
those
where
are the secret vaults of COCBLOK.
We'll hold those for a later date where they're actually worth something.
Could have for the anniversary party. Like, here are the secret videos that you guys never saw.
Yeah, once we get bought out by AB InBev, and then the pre-release stuff that was pre-InBev is going to be worth gazillions of dollars.
Carlos Brito, who's the head of InBev, if you're listening, my price is really low.
Yeah,
I mean, I'll do it for, I don't know, 1,000.
His name's Burrito.
Burrito.
Yeah.
Burrito.
But it's literally burrito.
No, it's not burrito.
But it's burrito.
It's burrito, kind of like that filter. you put the water in.
Like a Brita.
For some reason, you think that plastic thing is making your water better. It's just a piece of plastic.
Maybe it's actually pronounced burrito, not burrito.
Well, he's Brazilian, so how do they pronounce it in Brazil?
Either way,
that's the real question.
Yeah,
have you ever been to Brazil?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. I was.
Maybe you were at Brazil.
I should have. I should have been. Yeah, while we were gone. Well, I've been super busy, and you've been super busy, and there's been a couple times where I've maybe like 1 week out of 3 that I was like, oh, hey, I'm ready to do the show, and then you'll be like in Atlanta or something.
Last Monday was that case.
Yeah.
I was driving. I got a text, and I was like, we were actually driving back from Atlanta that day, and it's like my wife typed it. It wasn't me. She ghost typed for me.
Yeah, ghost typed.
I was driving.
Is that what it is? You pretend like it's you? I think John Calipari does that.
He does.
Yeah, he doesn't.
He does that for my
tweets.
text.
Oh yeah,
he ghost texts for me too. But yeah, we were driving back. We spent some time in Atlanta last weekend.
Okay,
a lot of fun. Atlanta's a cool town, man. It's in the South. Did you know that?
Are you sure?
The dirty South. Yeah. Did you know that?
You've been. Is that okay? That is considered.
It is called the dirty.
That is considered part of the dirty South. I do believe. Well, I feel real bad because it's been.
Well, you should.
It's been at least 2 months. Has it been 3 months?
No, it can't be that long.
It's been a long time.
As Led Zeppelin said.
Yeah.
It's been a long, lonely time.
Oh yeah. Okay. But
dude, I got some soundboard stuff for you today. It's just gonna rock your world.
I can see your laptop, and it is in arm's reach. I just want you to make sure that I can grab it and I can whip it across the room as fast as I need to. I feel like you're queuing up a soundbite too. You're like waiting. You're like on edge. Like I can't wait to play the delayed soundbite that doesn't fit in anything. Yeah.
I hope you like farting sounds.
Oh well, that goes without saying.
Yeah. I love farting sounds. I mean, we were in Atlanta at a place called the Fisherman's Junket or something like that. It's It's a pretty
the fisherman's junk.
Junk, yeah, that's what it is. I think it's called. It's in little 5 points, and it's like one of these eclectic places with kinds of clothes and junk and toys. And my son found the fart gun.
Yeah,
and he was in heaven. He just
yeah.
I got you, Daddy.
So you've been in the fisherman's junk before?
Well, not just in that store, but yeah, that's a whole other story for another time. Maybe over
the
a beer.
Fisherman's junk story.
The fisherman's junk. I think it's called the fisherman's junk.
Well, that sounds.
Some little 5 points.
If
I'm wrong, let someone from Atlanta call in and correct me.
That sounds saucy. Whatever happened there, that'll be the R-rated show. That'll be like the unreleased, the pay-per-view version.
We need to do those kind of DVDs.
Yeah.
The R-rated version of COCBLOK on DVD.
Yeah. So what's been going on with you? What have you been drinking, man?
So, well, I think probably since last time we've been on, I probably had 5,000 new beers.
I know. I think it's probably been the same for me. What do you got that's good?
Man, there's just been so much stuff going on. I mean, I think just to hit some high points, I think I've been to Nashville since we've been on the air, and I've been off the air, and I've been to Atlanta. And I think the high points of Nashville, I don't think we ever talked about that. We didn't talk about my Nashville trip.
We can't. I've actually been to Nashville in the meantime too. I didn't go for beer.
You didn't go for beer?
I went for a concert.
But you didn't drink any beer there?
Well, all the beer I had was kind of crappy.
Well,
you go first.
We went to visit a friend and doing storytelling, and my wife was going to do a storytelling thing at his, and he came back over here and did a storytelling at her. She's at the Horse's Mouth last Sunday of the month. West 6, 7 p.m., 6 p.m., 7 p.m. I'm actually going to be telling a story next time, too.
Okay.
I can get back to that later. But anyways, I was in Nashville, and I went to a number of places. I think the hot spots, the places that I mostly enjoyed, and Nashville's a pretty cool town for beer, were Southern Grist, of course.
Yes.
Have you been there?
I haven't been to the brewery, no.
Yeah,
their beer is fantastic.
The beer is absolutely fantastic. I think they said they're a 3-barrel system or something, really small.
Is it that small?
I mean, the tap room is incredibly small, but every single beer was great. And of course, I had to go to Bearded Iris.
Yeah, Bearded Iris is kind of like their new, I guess, flagship New England style IPA.
Everything is just pretty much hazy orange juice, but I loved it. That was fantastic. There was another place called Cezanne's, I think, or something that was not very good that we went to. And of course, the what's the name of that beer store? Craft
Brewed.
Craft Brewed.
Yeah,
that's actually a cool shop.
I like that place. We went there too. That was the one place I got to go when I was.
Really solid selection, and they have actually 2 shops side by side. But one shop has higher ABV than the other shop with the wine. The side with the wine.
And you know why? That's their liquor laws.
That's their liquor laws.
Liquor laws. You can go up to a certain percent, and it's you can sell them in gas stations and stuff like that. I think it's 6%. Above that, you actually have to put it in a package store. So they get by that by actually having quote unquote 2 stores, but they're side by side.
Side by side.
You literally have to walk outside. And back inside. They're not. You
can't run a tap. You can't run a tab. Through both stores.
No.
I tried that.
No, I think they probably have different business licenses too. So you can't walk from one into the other. It's so stupid. But it's like.
But the tap list is fantastic there. You can sit there and we drank some beers, bought some beers.
50 taps or something.
And the other thing which I love, Tennessee has its own weird laws. The other law in Tennessee that I hate is the carding law that no matter what you look like, you have to be carded, right?
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, it's like, let me see your ID, let me see your ID.
I'm okay
it's
with
annoying.
That,
but what I do like about Tennessee that we don't have, and I think, Atlanta's kind of the same way too, is the growler thing. And crowlers. Every single place seems to have crowlers now. Even Craft Brewed has a crowler station.
They sure do.
Southern Grist, they all have crowlers. I like to see more crowlers. 32 ounces is a really good amount of beer and in a can. It's the perfect way to serve beer. We actually don't have growler shops here in Kentucky like Ohio does.
Specific, only for growlers.
So you go to Atlanta, or you go to even Portland, or you go to Ohio, or you go to Tennessee, and there's a shop that does growlers for the most part. There's also one near where my friend lives in 12 South that, they had some bottles, and they also have taps, but they will fill growlers, of course. And crowlers, and I would love to see more of that here.
Do you think we have the customer base or the demand to have
have a growler shop?
Just to have a growler shop,
dude. There's 300,000 people in this town. Why can't we have a growler shop?
Well, yeah.
But
that's what I'm saying. How many of them do you think would actually buy growlers?
This is a whole different discussion, and this is. There was another online discussion recently about who are the better supporters of craft beer, Louisville or Lexington drinkers. Okay. But I think the real issue where I think overall in the beer industry is a whole different discussion is just the laziness in some ways of selling the product.
Yeah.
If you want to have a growler shop, if you want to have another beer store, if you currently own a beer store or a brewery or whatever, you got to sell. Even if you own a big chain in this town as there is, you still have to sell the beer, and you can't just put it on the shelf and wait for people to walk in. Awareness is rising. Awareness has risen in the 6 years that a lot of this has taken off.
Yeah.
But there is just no way awareness is where it could be. And the culture,
I agree.
culture's not where it could be. But it takes time, and you have to sell it. But regardless, I think we could do that. I think the low point, another high point of my trip was, have you ever been to Wrecking Bar in Atlanta?
No.
My second time going to it's a brew pub in Little Five Points. So, they also have really good food. But the beers were just absolutely, again, second time there, the beers, again, just killing it. Maybe some of the best beer, I think, going on in Atlanta in terms of production.
Okay.
That's
not a brewery, though.
It's a brewery. It's a brew pub.
Okay.
I had a strawberry milkshake IPA that was like something out of Omnipolo's portfolio.
I was about to say.
Yeah. And a really great hazy IPA and a great porter. And a farmhouse made with koji. A farmhouse saison made of koji. And koji is the fermented rice that's used to make sake.
Okay.
But also a really cool condiment spread if you like Japanese food. Put on sandwiches.
But it's the actual grain.
Yeah. So it's fermented.
So it's like using
rice.
spent barley from beer.
But rice.
And
it's a special kind of rice that's used to it's a special kind of, koji is not a rice. Koji is the yeast, the bacteria that's used to jumpstart the fermentation process.
Interesting, okay.
And that was an incredible farmhouse sale. So I thought Wrecking Bar was just amazing. I thought the low point in all those travels was the Chattanooga Brewing Company in Chattanooga, Tennessee. I mean, have you been there? The place is awful.
Yeah.
This Chattanooga sucks. I mean,
is it just
we like to stop in Chattanooga on the way to Atlanta, and we've stopped before at...
Is it like really bad streamlined, like we have a pale ale and we have
it is a beautiful,
an IPA, but everything just tastes like garbage.
Beautiful facility next to the stadium, but the beers were just not anything, and the food was terrible. I mean, I don't know how this place does it other than the fact there's not a lot of good beer in Chattanooga, period, and there's not a lot of places where you can eat and drink in Chattanooga. So I don't know. That was a huge disappointment. But otherwise, it the usual place. I go to Brick Store when I go to Atlanta.
Sure.
Because it's right near where my sister lives, and it's just the place to go to get really good beer and hang out. And Atlanta's just rocking these days. Hop City was totally rocking for their beer selection. One of the best beers I had there, a brewery I'd never heard of called
Is Hop City a brewery?
Hop City is a store.
Okay.
And in the Krug City Market, which is kind of like what they're doing at the Summit a little bit here in town.
See, I've been to Atlanta like once when I was like 8.
Yeah,
so you keep mentioning these places.
It's a shop, and there's 2 of them, and I think there's another one in Alabama, and then they also have taps. And there was a beer. The brewery's called Dry County, I think. Yeah, Dry County Noonday Extra Pale was one of the beers we had on there. That beer is fantastic. It was a great IPA. I mean, they had Mexican cake on tap if you wanted that. Yeah.
Okay.
And they had chocolate covered Black Angel on tap from Wicked Weed for those who are still drinking Wicked Weed.
Real quick, Andrew Bishop just texted me.
Yeah.
Fact check. Andrew Bishop is the
let's fact check this.
Yeah. he's the main man over at Ethereal. Koji is a fungus. It's a fungus,
not a yeast
with enzymes to break down rice into sugars that can be fermented. So you were close.
Yes, I wasn't sure.
That's interesting though. I've never heard of
It's a fungus.
Okay,
but it's used. I mean, it's used in sake.
Yeah, okay.
And I buy a spread sometimes. It comes in a little packet called koji that I use.
Kind of like pate?
Kind of like looks like almost like a mayonnaise, but it's not a mayonnaise. You spread it out and make a sandwich. It's really, really
That's very
delicious.
interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
If you're into Japanese food, as I am.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's just...
I'm just into Japanese culture because it's crazy and there's a lot of craziness.
When you're down in Atlanta, you got Creature Comforts, a lot of good Creature Comforts to consume. 3 Taverns, a lot of really good stuff down there. I think that's kicking it. I still think some of the Atlanta beers a little bit on the bland side.
That's going to be anywhere you go, though.
But over, Scofflaw, have you ever had them? Mm-mm. They're doing some good stuff, but they're not packaging apparently anymore, I've heard.
Anymore? Or
they were packaging really good IPAs in cans. Apparently have stopped.
Okay.
Had a nice Blackberry Farm rye pale ale. I didn't even know they were doing pale ales.
Rye pale ale.
Yeah. I thought Blackberry was just saisons, but they're doing pale ales too, I guess. Okay. I know they're doing canned beers. I don't know if you saw that notice, but they're not yet ready to distribute here to Kentucky and the canned stuff.
With the cans.
Yeah, so I mean, a lot of good stuff. And even around town, I think I was over at Ethereal the other day for Andrew. And I think that there's a Berliner Weiss of citrus on called Care Bear Stare right now that I just think is excellent.
Over at Ethereal?
Yeah, it's just brilliant. I mean, if you like a good Berliner Weiss, but they've upped the ante with the citrus.
Yeah. I like a good balanced Berliner Weiss. The same way I like a good balance, just like American Wild Ale. I don't like when it's just kind of like gonna stab you with how sour this is.
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was like that at all. I think it was really well done.
Okay.
Went over yesterday trying to get a beer Iris at the last day of the Beer Trap takeover I hadn't been to any of the anniversary stuff.
Yeah.
And that wasn't on because they're having problems with the keg. But there was Braxton City Batch. Have you had that? It's a barrel-aged beer that is
I
really
actually, this being like the first radio show that I've done in like 6 years, I was like, I got to stop and get a beer on the way in.
Oh,
and like, I moved recently.
Yeah, you already moved.
Yeah, I'm more on the south side of town. I didn't tell anybody that, but that's part of the reason why I've been so busy. So I got a new house. I'm over on the south side. And normally I jump on the interstate to get here. Now I'm driving straight through the middle of Lexington. Up Tate's Creek, all the way down to Limestone.
That can be slow.
And then here. Well, I'm passing right by the Beer Trap. So immediately I'm like, oh, well, I got 10 minutes. I'm stopping there. Oh,
Monday.
don't open until 4. Sorry. Monday. And I was like, daggone it. Which I actually ran into.
We all make that Monday mistake.
Yeah, I ran into Tom Bear over there from Pazzo's and Village Idiot. And we actually had a discussion. We've been talking about this before. And I got an announcement I want to make here in a little bit.
You getting married?
Huh?
You getting married?
Well, that's under the radar.
Oh, okay.
That's second news. Thanks for breaking that to everybody, though. No, we've actually been discussing something fun we're going to do, but I ran into him.
With the Bears?
Yeah, and for COCBLOK. And then, but that'll be in a minute.
Oh, hear that.
But I actually ended up I kept going, and I was like, I stopped at my usual place. I stopped over at West 6 just because it's like right down the road here.
Oh, did you get the Galaxy?
I got the Galaxy!
Yeah.
That's what I was getting ready to say. That stuff's good, man.
I thought I had it yesterday. I thought
Galaxy's
it was really
hard to beat anyway. Galaxy is a fantastic
Got a little dankness, I thought. Yeah. It was
little?
Nice. Yeah. It was nice.
Somebody put it on Untappd. I was like rating it like when I got here, like in the car, and then and somebody put it in as a pale ale. There's no way that's a pale ale. It's all IP. It's like 7% alcohol.
It listed on the board as it might be listed on the board.
I don't remember. That's the problem.
It might be.
But that's a hoppy beer.
It was good.
It's really good. Very, very hazy.
Yesterday. My wife took the kids to do some stuff, so I had the day, and I started making my rounds around town. And I stopped in to buy a bottle for a friend that I'm sending him because he just sent me a bunch of beer. And I saw that Galaxy on tap.
Yeah.
I wasn't planning on hanging out, and I was like, I got to try that.
That's good.
And it was super good.
That's really good.
But those guys, they've really upped their game in the last few years.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I as of now, I still stand by my statement from. I don't know if we talked about this on the show or if this might have been like during my hiatus or our hiatus, but the stock ale.
That's what I went to pick up. Yeah,
I think when they did it on draft, I thought
draft was good.
That's the best beer that's come out of West 6. The stock ale, which is basically an old ale. It's very like spicy, almost like rye, but it's so full bodied, lots of barrel nuance in there, and I was like. Oh, you guys have got to bottle this. And at the time, I was talking to, I won't say his name, but I was talking to somebody there, and he's like, oh, we actually did bottle it. And I was like, no way. And I'm trying to hold my mouth shut. I was like, I can't say anything. And then finally, now it's out in bottles. So I've been so busy. Have you tried it in the bottle? I've been so busy, haven't been able to. I grabbed a bottle, and I'm going to take it home, and I'm probably going to open it tonight. But I know I'm not the only one. I have that issue with West 6 and their large format bottles.
I have
the champagne.
I have seen a little bit of negative on I haven't tried out the bottle, but I thought the draft was excellent.
Nothing has blown me away from West 6 like that the stock ale and draft has. So
not even Snake Cake?
No. This is way up there. In my opinion, that's way above there. So it's still pretty fresh in my mind to where I think I can put it side by side, and I'll actually see how that champagne yeast actually affects it. But notoriously, they've always been like super carbonated and like a lot drier.
I'm just not on the sours, you mean?
No, just on the high gravity beer.
I have heard. I mean, the rumors are that Snake Cake is bottled.
Yeah,
but we've never seen it. So if that's true, then we wish someone from West 6, either we got to be investigative journalists here, or maybe someone from West 6 can come in and clear the issue about Snake Cake. Is it bottled or will it be bottled? Because inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah,
but that Galaxy is awesome.
Yeah, Galaxy's awesome. Hopefully the stock ale is held up, and I assume it's champagne yeast finished, but I hope it's not as dry and bubbly as some of the other ones are. But we'll see.
There was also, I didn't try it, a rum barreled brown on top.
I didn't try that. I got one beer and had like 10 minutes to get here, so I'm like, I did like the Irish drinks where you get like 3 giant pulls and then you're done.
I was quickly using my time yesterday while the kids were gone just to go to Blue Stein, go to West 6, and then I'm like, oh, well, Cadium's down the street, and it's a Sunday in the afternoon. that means I can go without it being date night. So I go to Arcadium for a second, grab something, then head over to Trab and have a couple more beers. And next thing you know, I'm 8 into it, and it's 4:30 in the afternoon.
It's 7 a.m. the next day, and like, where did all the time go? Oh, I got time for 2 more. That's fine.
Yeah. So, and then my wife's texting me, "Oh my God, there's a leak in the house," and then I have to go home. So
you're like, give me 3 more.
Yeah, but let's hear about. Oh, you want to hear? Oh, you want to take a break?
Let's take a short break. When we come back, we got a big announcement to make for COCBLOK. We're going to do a fun little event. I'll talk about a little bit about what I'm doing. I kind of want to segue into our market, and then we'll talk about some news and stuff. So
that sounds good, man.
Hello, welcome back to COCBLOK, which stands for the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky.
Yeah, get your head out of the.
I know, unbelievable.
What is going on with
unbelievable, you people. I keep getting on these social media.
Government do take a bite, don't you?
Oh my God. It's in arm's reach, man. I'm just going to reach over there. I'm just going to snap it in half. You and your sound bites.
I wish I had a drum roll sound bite, so maybe
I wish you would actually put them on cue. It would be.
That wasn't good?
What?
That wasn't good? What?
I'm waiting.
What's the matter? Well, I don't know what's going on.
I'm waiting for dead air here because this is what we have to deal with.
Well, that's not working. That's not my fault.
Yeah, it's working.
I've been taking these Huggies and whatever cash you got.
That's actually a really good one. I like that one too. Raising Arizona.
Wait, one more. This is great stuff, man. Oh, it's not working now. Oh, that doesn't work. All right, anyways.
See, here's the problem with the sound bites.
What's that? What's the problem? What's the problem with the sound bites?
This whole time we've been waiting. It's for a sound bite. Well, nobody can see it, but we're waiting on Jeff to do a sound bite.
Man. It's up to the internet.
We're all waiting on Jeff to do a sound bite.
You feel
it's up to the internet.
In a man's body.
Well, sometimes I get the menstrual cramps real hard.
I love that. That's great stuff. All right. So,
if you were able to put them on cue, like on the spot, it would be a lot more.
I'm working with a browser on the. We have the tech here is incredibly.
That's our high dollar system.
Except for the belly dancing, the tech here is very low tech.
Yeah.
So let's hear this.
Oh yeah. So Tom Baer is the man over at Pazos over at well, he's kind of the head of like the whole, Bear Enterprises, Beer Trap and stuff like that. And he and I had actually been talking about doing a pint night for COCBLOK.
Oh, wow.
Where we would actually have COCBLOK
Where,
branded.
at Pazos?
Yeah. Just like they do on the regular Wednesdays. We would actually have a glass that's branded with the COCBLOK logo.
Is it going to have that bottle?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's not safe for work.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, most beer is not typically, but we will be having a COCBLOK branded pint night over at Pazos. Date to be determined. Beer to be determined.
So do you get to pick the beer or does Tom pick the beer?
Oh, we're making the beer.
Oh, so wait.
Guess who's making it?
Wait, you're making it with what, Ethereal or something?
Ethereal's brewing the beer for COCBLOK.
So there's going to be a special Ethereal COCBLOK.
Yeah, Ethereal Brewing is going to brew a beer for COCBLOK, and then we are going to do the release over at Pazos, again on a date to be determined.
But the style's not known yet.
None of it's known yet. Well, I mean, it's kind of known, but we need to iron out the details and stuff like that.
But no brewing has occurred yet.
No brewing has occurred yet.
So we're still waiting.
Yeah, it'll be.
This could be early fall.
It'll be like 6 years from now. Yeah. If the how often I get on the air is any indication, it'll be about 6 years.
Are you gonna help brew? Are you going to be in the brew house that day?
I don't plan on it. No? If it is requested,
I'm going to hold the bags maybe and dump them in or something?
The bags, yeah.
Are you going to get the paddle out?
I'm gonna hold the fisherman's junk.
Are you going to paddle the wort?
Yeah, with the old wooden paddle.
Those guys at Ethereal, they should make you come and clean up. That's the thing. They should be like, all right, now you clean the fermenter.
Yeah. I just be like, I'm busy. I'm going to hand it down to my second in command, Jeff Rice. I'm going to have him come on over here. But no, it's going to be really exciting.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
For people that are listening and that are not involved, which is probably all like 0 people, we do have a Facebook group with a lot of active members.
And what is that group called?
COCBLOK, actually. Right. Yeah, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky. But we'll be getting some feedback and trying to establish, iron out some details on the style and what we're going to be making. And
people are going to ask for crazy styles.
Yeah, we're not going to do. I
want a bourbon barrel aged sour pecan infused vanilla stout.
Likely not a bourbon barrel aged anything or barrel aged anything just because of the time involved. And I'd like to get it out this year. IPA is the easiest. We'll see. But it'll be really fun, and we'll get a COCBLOK get glass out there. That is a tongue twister.
Shaker pint.
Maybe.
I think they're all shaker pants at the keep the glass.
don't
Well, it's called pint night, I guess. So it has to be.
Yeah, a lot of the other glassware that's been done from some other breweries has been stemware. I'm a stickler for. I love
pint night.
I love stemware. Yeah, so
They do stemware at pint night. But then
I've seen it before. Yes,
you can't get a pint in a stem.
Well, it's not literally like everything's a pint. I mean, sometimes they do
16 ounces.
quote unquote. It's a proprietary.
But you
term.
get to keep the glass.
You get to keep the glass. I don't know what the glass is going to be. We'll talk to him. It might be a shaker.
Sounds
pint.
great.
I don't
Maybe
know.
you should put your picture on it.
No. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
Hey,
yeah.
that'd be pretty cool.
There'll be a lot of smashed glasses outside of Pazos.
That would be good fodder for picking on you on COCBLOK.
Yeah. No, nobody ever picks on me.
Not that there's any. Not that anybody ever gets in a fight on COCBLOK.
No, never.
It's a very civil Facebook.
It's very
page,
civil. Everything's civil.
where everything feels like it's England in 19th century.
With a term like COCBLOK.
I appreciate your gesture towards a fine beer, my good
It's like,
sir.
no, you are a douchebag.
Yeah,
and this is why.
That's usually what happens.
But it will be. It will be a fun event.
funny shapes at all?
Well, no, unless round is funny.
That's kind of a COCBLOK.
And see, here's the other thing: the sound bites need to be relative instead of just something random that you can interject. And then
I'll
all of a
tell
sudden you break up the space.
I have to say, I'm very excited about this whole pint night thing. I think it's awesome. It's good. It's good for the brand, I think.
I think it's good for the brand. I like to promote, craft beer in Central Kentucky, in the outlying
Now,
areas.
the danger of this, of course, is a Facebook group which started with like 8 people and went to 600 people, and now it would be 5,000 people when it's all said and done.
If that's an issue, then that
Which means anybody who posts a new release on COCBLOK, forget it, because everybody in town will know.
You know what we'll have to do? We'll have to start a subgroup.
COCBLOK.
Yeah, we'll have to do like
Secret COCBLOK.
the secret. Yeah,
Your secret cock.
secret block cocking.
Secret cock. Coalition of Craft.
No, we'll
people.
actually call it-
Coalition of Craft.
It'll actually be called Fisherman's Junk.
Sock cock.
No, Fisherman's Junk.
Fisherman's Junk.
Yeah, we're doing Fisherman's Junk.
You like the Fisherman's Junk?
Yeah, I hope that's
Really?
really not their name, so that way we can
I
actually
think it's
take
called
it.
the Fisherman's Junk.
Yeah, we'll be-
But you like that on the Fisherman's Junk.
Yeah, I love that you were in the Fisherman's. I love that you were in the Fisherman's
that
Junk.
you were really into. I know what I'm getting you for your birthday.
Some Fisherman's Junk.
Some paraphernalia from the Fisherman's Junk.
Yeah, we'll put it. We'll leave it at that. So, anyways,
Well, we didn't hear enough about your drinking, I think, and then we can talk about some issues.
I have been really busy lately, and again, I apologize for not being able to continue to do this because this is really fun for me. I enjoy doing this. This is cathartic. I don't
is.
like to work. I like to do this, and this is fun. We don't make money doing this, but it's entertaining, and it's
Well, I do get a little bit of payola from
Anheuser-Busch. Yeah. Well, we all do. We're just
By
not
the
allowed
way,
to talk
Bud
about it.
Light. For when you want a light experience.
Yeah. Mango Rita. When you want diabetes. But what I do for a living, I'll just go ahead and say it. I'm a real estate photographer for the most part. I'm a photographer, video, I do like media production more or less for small businesses, but I do a lot for real estate agents and real estate companies. And I've been so busy that I have had to cancel the show for myself for the past 4,000 takes or whatever that we did. But it's been so busy because the economy in Central Kentucky is doing very well. And I think that's great for everything, and I think it's great for craft beer. But I also think craft beer has done its part to kind of help, support the local economy. And I think
Beer nerds buy houses?
everybody buys houses, honestly, yeah. But, I mean, Lexington is thriving right now.
Yeah, I heard the inventory is low.
Yes, inventory is low.
Now we're turning into a real estate show, but inventory is low.
But this is my point, business is good in Lexington. Breweries are doing well. You look at Country Boys expansion in Georgetown. I mean, that's a freaking huge deal. Yeah. You look at they're opening up a brewery. I'm talking about Central Kentucky. In general, they just opened up a brewery in Cynthiana.
It's functional now, I think. Right?
Maiden City. I actually stopped up there.
I think you told me you had a beer, one of their beers.
I went up there and their beer actually wasn't ready yet. And I talked to them and I did some photos for them for free just to kind of help them out. They didn't have any beer yet, but the place is actually pretty big when you consider it's a place like Cynthiana, which is like an hour away.
And aren't there supposed to be breweries popping up in Frankford, Winchester, maybe?
Everywhere, man.
And there's one in Somerset.
Hopkinsville. Remember Hopkinsville? Yeah, I haven't been there, but
one day you may actually be able to do a nice Kentucky beer tour.
Yeah. But anyway, I think our economy is doing really good things right now, and I think beer has had a part in that, in making it, really thrive. you tie that in with like some of the other places, and I don't want to say this is like, you know, can directly correlate, but the buyout over at Wicked Weed in Asheville, I don't think that's going to affect tourism in Asheville.
No,
whatsoever.
I don't think it's going to affect Wicked Weed whatsoever.
No, I don't. I really don't think it is. Not in the immediate future. Anyway.
Maybe a few people here and there will say, "Well, I'm not going to Wicked Weed anymore. I'm not going to go to the Funkatorium. I'm not going to go to the Brew Pub." But people in Asheville are still going to go to the Brew Pub.
Yeah,
it's still going to be packed on a Friday night.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
Stuff like that is kind of like the first step to kind of being a little more industrialized.
Right.
I think Lexington is really in a prime spot to be what Asheville has been for the past, 3 or 4 years.
I have thought this for a long time, that if you think about the ingredients that make up an Asheville or a Nashville, Tennessee, or any kind of hip, or Decatur, which is in the Atlanta area, any kind of hip area where that has really good craft beer, it involves usually some attention to local food, which Lexington has.
Yes.
Really good farmers market.
Very much so, yeah.
Local food movement here. Young, educated people, which Lexington has.
Except for you, but yeah.
Except for me, who's only have a PhD.
Who's not old or educated.
And then
only a PhD.
Outdoors.
Yes.
We do have the outdoors.
Yes.
The gorge is not very far from here. There's a lot of hiking and biking.
And the farms and stuff.
And then
like
you have a good upper middle class. Some of it attached to the horse industry, a lot of it not. Anybody who goes south to the south side of town, like where you moved, and I saw your fancy house, knows there's a lot. That's why the summit is being built on Man o' War and Nicholsville, because
there's nothing else over there.
Anybody who thinks those stores aren't going to do well, I think is crazy. They are going to do very well, because there's a lot of people who have expendable income on that side of town that want to shop in those kind of stores.
I moved from Hamburg. Which, like, if you want anything, you, like, take 2 steps out your front door and you're there. Move it over to the south side of Taste Creek, and it's, like, nothing. I woke up one morning, I was like, I want breakfast. I don't want to make it, but I want to go somewhere that has it. Where am I going to go? I didn't have 2 hours to sit down at Ramsey's, and I wanted options, In Hamburg, you go to Wild Eggs. You can keep going down to...
There's a Wild Eggs also on Harrodsburg.
Yeah, that's not like close.
And on Clay's Mill, there's North Lime Donut.
That's not close. That's not close to me. I mean, that's like 10, 15, that's about 15 minutes away. You
got the Fresh Market, I guess. Can you eat breakfast there?
No, can you? Yeah, and they're moving Whole Foods over to Summit, which is nice. But
that Whole Foods is going to have a big bar.
The Summit, it's like what you said. The Summit will end up being...
It'll be big.
It will be my new...
When Dan Wu's place is there, he's going to do well. Tom McGraman.
I heard rent is ridiculous.
I'm sure it's very expensive.
I heard it's insane.
I'm sure it's very expensive.
I don't know.
That whole place looks expensive.
Yeah.
And the World of Beer will be there and everything. And they're going to do well. It's going to be an upscale... It's a different kind of shopping, eating experience, but it's going to do well. And how do we get to this topic? I forget.
We're talking about economy. We're talking about
I think Lexington has all the ingredients, and once you're starting to see the culture change, and more people who are not beer nerds who are showing up at Ethereal, showing up at West 6.
Yeah,
I was at West 6 yesterday on a Sunday afternoon. Lots of people there. They're not beer nerds. They're just hanging out. People just like to have a beer.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. You need that kind of culture. And Lexington is definitely getting it. And I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I don't have any news of any new places, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 2 or 3 years we start seeing another brewery or two pop up.
I agree. Yeah. We probably should have heard something.
There's a lot of room. If someone's interested, particularly once they move into other parts of the city, they can open a brewery and do well. I think particularly on the south side. But we know breweries can exist in any location, and in industrial zones, downtowns, shopping malls.
They become destinations.
They're everywhere. Yeah, as long as you're doing a good job, you become a destination. You tap in though into this part of the economy of folks buying nice homes, wanting to shop at the Summit, open a brewery, you will do well. There's no doubt about it. And
but from the beer nerds perspective, people like you and I, people that are part of the COCBLOK, the Coalition of Craft Beer Lovers of Kentucky, we are very adamant and very passionate about craft beer. In doing so, we tend to, prefer the more nuanced styles. Stuff that is aged in bourbon barrels, stuff that is higher gravity and stronger, and, that's harder to drink for most laymen that are, not as familiar with craft beer. But the thing is, those lighter styles, those stuff that are, considered pedestrian by like the hardcore beer nerds, are what bring people into the industry. And there are what bring people into those breweries. And for every one beer nerd like myself that goes into Ethereal and says, I want to try your, the bourbon barrel aged old ale you have on tap, there's at least 15 people that are there just to get the cream ale. Yeah, the cream ale. Exactly right. Yeah. And that's
Cougar bait. Anyone Cougar bait is Cougar bait made where it's trying to happen, right?
Yeah. No matter how you look at it, it's those lighter styles, the flagship beers that actually bring people in.
I wrote this on the Facebook page maybe yesterday. There's a great piece in the new All About Beer by Brian Roth about flagship beers, and it focuses on Founders All Day, Firestone Walker's 805, Leinenkugel Shandy, and I'm forgetting one more that I think I wrote there too, about how these beers are the beers that make the brewery what it is. I mean, Allagash is known for, it's in Maine. We don't get it here, but known for their saisons and 375 milliliter sours.
The white ale is really good too.
Yeah, but the white ale is
it is actually a good beer.
It is something like 60 to 80%. I forget which number it was. Of their business is the white ale, and Founders All Day IPA is 60% of their business.
It's insane. First of all, did you like that segue? Wasn't that good?
I know. It was good.
With the flagship beer,
you rocked it. You haven't lost it. You haven't lost a beat. It's been a month or two, but you have not lost a beat, baby. You are right there.
Yeah. But anyways,
right on the post.
I didn't actually read the post, so I don't know what it discussed, but I agree with the sentiment.
Yeah, and so that's the thing is that the breweries, for the most part, need flagships. They need a beer that will sustain them and carry them and finance them, so that they can do the barrel age program, the sour program. I mean, maybe Evan will say this isn't true or not, but I would wonder, can there be living proof without Cougar bait?
It's a good question.
I don't know. It would seem to me on the surface, no, but I don't work there, so I don't have any inside knowledge. But Cougar bait is what makes them happen. And I wouldn't be surprised once they start canning Cliff Jumper that it too becomes one of their, if not the flag, it'll be in that kind of realm of one of the few beers that are really financing it. Because I can see Cliff Jumper just taking off.
Well, I guess they must have changed the recipe or something like that. The new batch they put out is fantastic.
It's awesome.
IPA, yeah.
I think it'll be a really.
It wasn't bad before, but that's really good now.
I think it'll be a really good IPA for them in packaged beer. And that's the other thing about Kentucky breweries. They may have flagships. Well, we know like when Rockhouse opened, they did a cream ale.
Yeah.
And when Mirror Twin opened, they thought about a blonde ale too as being a flag. They were thinking ahead, like this will be something that'll bring people in. Once you start packaging, then it changes the nature of your flagship too. And there's just not a lot of packaging in state. But I don't know what Against the Grains, what they would call their flagship right now. There's A Beer and Pileface are newer productions, so I don't know what they look at. If they look at anything and say this is the main thing that we sell,
they're not really like a gypsy brewery, but like they do gypsy beers, basically, where it's like something different all the time.
Alpha King must be sustaining Three Floyds in ways that others, and Gumball Head as well.
Yeah,
the way Oberon does and Too Hard to Do
Zombie does too.
But you don't get the massive amount of production of Zombie that you're going to get of Gumball Head.
I think they're getting the production of it. It's just we don't see it because it's gone as soon as it lands.
Yeah, but since they upped their production, we now see the four brands we see the most of
are the Alpha King,
Gumball Head, Space Station,
Middle
Finger, and Yum Yum.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, those are the ones they're up in because those are the ones that are probably paying for the bills. Except for Dark Lord Day also pays a big deal of their finances. Yeah. But that's the beer, and you have to have those kind of beers. And people look down on flagships, but I don't know why.
We still need to do. We said this earlier on. I said this earlier on. I want to do a show on the stages of craft beer nerdism. And you start out and you're this like this wide-eyed, just like I'm enamored with every single beer that I've come across because everything is new and everything is exciting. But it's those entry beers that kind of bring you in, and it's what gives mass appeal to the industry. A lot of people really don't go past that first stage. There's nothing wrong with that. There really isn't. But some people do go past it, and then they get deeper into it, and you get into the high gravity stuff. You get into sours. You get into funky Belgians that are described with terms like horse blanket and stuff like that. But you learn to have an appreciation for that. But like the flagship beers are the beers that it's said over and over again, but they keep the lights on, they pay the bills, and they fund the fun projects that the brewers can enjoy doing, where they can be creative and mess around with. Now
you have anomalies to this you have Side Project, for example.
Yeah.
You have the brewery, although I don't really know what the brewery's what their flagship might be. It has to be one of the 750s.
They've always been, they've always kind of. I feel like they've been the gypsy style too.
But and maybe you can look at other folks and say, well, they don't really fit the model, but that's okay because there are always going to be exceptions and anomalies. But for the most part, you need a really good selling beer. Also, not just to make money, but as I think with the article we did a really good job of pointing out too, is to spread brand.
Okay.
Just all the things we're talking about people. So if you're into Firestone Walker, like probably you and I are, we really enjoy their barrel-aged 22-ounce bottles from Parabola.
Their shelf stuff's really good too, though.
But, and even now I know there's the IPAs, the six-pack IPAs are doing real well too. But to get their brand still out there, they need something like 805, which is, I think, a blonde or something light.
Yeah.
To get more beer drinkers who would reach for a macro to reach for. They're not going to reach for, Parabola first. They're going to reach for 805 first. And then if they like that, move maybe into the new hoppy beers they're doing or IPAs are doing, etc. You need something like that to also get your brand out there too.
Yeah.
To the average person, whether it's like, maybe our dads or our neighbors who aren't so crazy about beer as we are, but like to drink good beer.
Yeah. I meet a lot of people in what I do, and I get to see a lot of people that do appreciate beer. And it's always like I'll be in somebody's house and I'll see, a West 6 growler sitting up there, or I'll see, like some bottle that was released from Blue Stallion, like over like on a shelf or something like that. And I'll use that to kind of break the ice. And almost every single time, with the rare exception here and there, it's always somebody that is into pale ales. They're into IPAs. They're into the kind of flagship stuff. Their go-to is Cougar Bait from Country Boy. Right. That's, they love and appreciate local beer because they are, on that level of craft beer. But I'll mention something like Baba Yaga from Ethereal, and they'll be like, "What's that?"
Well, they're not gonna do that, yeah.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like they don't go after that. No. They don't know about it and they don't care about it, and there's nothing wrong with that. They're still into craft beer. They just they like the lighter stuff, and they're kind of like in the entry level. And usually the exceptions are the people that are already in COCBLOK.
Right.
I'll like happen. I was like, "Oh hey," oh sorry. I'd be like, "Oh hey, you're in COCBLOK," and they're like, "Oh yeah, hey."
Yeah, so I think that's
I will say this.
That's a good piece.
I will say this. I want to read the article because I think that's very interesting, and I have been of that belief for as long as I can remember. I'm big in marketing, and I've always understood the importance a flagship has on the brand in craft beer. I am starting to shift. I have been just like noticing the trends in the economy and the way the way things are right now. This is a very artisanal movement in our economy. A lot of people are opting to buy their meat at Whole Foods and go home and make hamburgers rather than go to McDonald's or even like stop in an Applebee's and get stuff.
I can only hope so.
Well, but 20 years ago, it was like, it wasn't like that. You fast forward to now, and it's like, if you want a candle, you don't go to Walmart and buy it off the shelf. You go and find that off-brand that somebody made on Etsy. And that's a lot more common. And I think the same thing is with craft beer. I still think that craft beer kind of had a role in that to kind of push people in that direction.
And this kind of upsets some beer nerds who complain about price point, but breweries have different notions of price point. I mean, that's kind of what you're getting at, where a brewery might say, we only want to we want to have a piece of the premium price. So Brooklyn's a good example of that. We can do the regular something 6-packs, or we can do
don't say it.
The double the price 750s. Yeah. And you can say, well, they're overpriced, but I don't think Brooklyn cares. They go, we want you to think of this as a high wine.
Yeah.
So we are going to price point at that level. And that's kind of similar to what you're saying. Like, so don't go to Safeway, go to Whole Foods. I mean, there's issues of quality, of course, and we're generalizing. But to pay some people want to pay a higher price point because they feel that it's a better quality product.
Yeah. And that's the kind of mentality that we have. That's not the specific direction I was going, but that's part of it. I think that not today, not this year, maybe not even next year, but I think we will see a lot, maybe not a lot, but I think we will see more businesses being able to thrive off of not having flagship products.
I see.
I think we're making a shift, and I'm hoping we get there, but I think we're making a shift into where these brands can subsist off of basically having a bunch of one-offs and being creative. You're still going to have to, have the production behind to keep up with demand. But stuff like the side project out of St. Louis, I can't remember his name over there.
Corey.
Yeah, it came from. Was it Boulevard? No, not Boulevard.
Perennial.
Came over from Perennial, started his own thing, had a lot of hype, and whenever he puts out a beer, it's just like, it doesn't matter what it is. He doesn't even have to distribute. He just pops up a brewery and it's just gone.
I'll give you maybe even a smaller example. Have you ever had Nowhere in Particular?
No, but I've seen it on the shelf.
He actually, what does he brew in the day? He brews at I forget which Chicago brewery.
I've seen it's like the white can with the skull on it. Yeah.
He's actually part of another large brewery, but on the side he does this thing called blanking.
I've read it. It was interesting.
Right.
No, he doesn't do the same batch twice.
Right. So I guess that's kind of similar to what you're saying in that he just calls them batch numbers, batch 8, batch 7. And it says on the can, I'll never brew this again.
Yeah.
So it's similar.
That's a little extreme.
I'm not gonna have a flagship. I'm just gonna each time do something different.
Yeah. I think that's
But he's very, very small production.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's the opposite end of the spectrum. I mean, I still think, if the demand's there, you have to, keep
Side Project does reproduce.
Exactly
beers.
right. Exactly right. Yeah, they're making them again, and they're getting.
And so did the brewery, and so does Russian River. I mean, they're doing a new batch, I think, of beatifications coming out.
Yeah.
They're high-end beers, but they're doing them repeatedly. Russian River is different because they do have flagships, unlike Side Project.
Yeah, they kind of do.
Well,
but
Pliny and Blind
I see people are falling in love with the producer and not the product. Mm-hmm. And
that's
before
the brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's exactly what it is. And before. Even now, really, it's like you create the product that is the flagship product. People fall in love with it, and they continue to buy it, and you push the product. But we're in this artisanal movement where people are more interested in the production process. They want something that is, crafted by hand. They want something that is a lot more intimate, and so they're a lot more enamored with the people that are making it, not the actual stuff they're making. So whenever people produce something, that automatically falls under their radar, and they're all about it.
I think it's like any product. There is an audience like what you're describing. I don't think it's the entire audience, but there is a niche audience that is enamored with the idea of something like Side Project, of the barrel age, and the blends and all that, and that works for them. There's an audience for Hill Farmstead, which is not everybody who wants to drive in the middle of nowhere
exactly
and
right,
get growlers.
And the thing is, sours still really aren't mainstream for the most part.
They're not, but Gozas have become more and more. The other example is Anderson Valley. The Gozas become their flagship.
I know, right? Who would have thought that?
And probably, I don't know if Westbrook's Goza is their flagship or one of their flagships, but it does really well. It actually inspired Anderson Valley in the article to go and do a Goza.
Yeah.
But Goza is another interesting case. Like, how can a Goza be a flagship? It's a salty, tart, sour.
It's something
beer.
It's like when you first think about it, it's an offensive product.
And nobody had ever. All the people who were probably buying them today, or most of them, probably 3 or 4 years ago, hadn't even heard of this style because it was kind of forgotten in America.
Oh yeah, it's very, very old style,
and it's done well for certain breweries. They're doing really well selling Gozas.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Did you ever have the margarita one?
Yeah, it was too margarita for me, I think. The Westbrook,
or was the key lime one?
The key lime too.
I'm sorry, yeah.
Too limey for me. I can't. Even the collab between Country Boy and West 6 was good for maybe a pint for me. I can't do much more.
Yeah, I actually like the collab one, the Country Western. Is it 5 now? 5 now. Just because I thought it was really sessionable though. I think that's the epitome of what a quote unquote lawnmower beer.
Country Boy does the nice Ghost Goza.
Yeah.
And Ethereal has their what's the official name of the Goza they do? Mm-hmm. It's on the board right now.
Okay. Andrew, what's the name of the Goes at Ethereal? We'll just wait for him to chime in.
But so we got about 10 minutes left, and I think it has to be said. I've been getting a lot of emails and phone calls, and a lot of discussion about RateBeer and InBev's investment in RateBeer. I know a lot of people in town are on RateBeer.
So nobody uses RateBeer. We've had this discussion 1,000 times. Nobody uses RateBeer except for you.
Reason in
so does that mean that you were the one that got bought out?
I know people in Louisville who use RateBeer. People in Cincinnati use RateBeer, but nobody in Lexington but me. If you are in RateBeer in Lexington, give me a call. We need to get together.
Well, obviously they've all backed out now.
But InBev owns another company called what's it called ZX or something like that does investment strategies and is interested in analytics and data mining as one of their strategies. And they did invest some amount of money in RateBeer way back in October, and only came to light recently.
Yeah.
And even in that community, which does have a lot of, I think it actually does have more members than Beer Advocate. I don't know about Untapped, but people left. People left the community.
After they discover they got bought out, or after they got bought out?
It's not bought out. It's an It's not clear what the amount is.
It was actually a minority stake, wasn't it?
It's a minority stake. Yeah. Now I know Joe Tucker, who runs RateBeer, was here for my craft writing event last September and gave a talk.
So they
were already doing data mining anyways, and either selling it or making it available to breweries.
But now
obviously InBev wants to have a closer look at the data mining, wants to know what the data is. And it's when you rate on these sites, I think what people forget too is they go on the sites, they think it's all about did someone give it a 5 or a 4.2 or a 3.8, but what they're doing behind the scenes in all of the sites, RateBeer, Beer Advocate, Untapped, is there's a lot of data that can be analyzed to think about styles, preferences, location purchases, etc.
Yeah.
That's the information that a lot of companies are really interested in to know, not just what's hip right now, but how do consumer patterns play out in all kinds of complex ways. And so obviously InBev wants a little bit. I mean, I don't know how much it was. I can't believe it's that much of an investment because really RateBeer is a one-person operation, which is Joe Tucker.
Yeah.
And I don't think he may, he's retiring off this investment. I think he's getting the money maybe to have him hire some help or expand the operation. I know that when something goes wrong on the site, it's him who has to go and like maybe the Alstrom brothers too. They have to go fix their site hand by their own coding.
Yeah. Do you think they lost enough traffic that they're going to have to make it up?
No, I think, but there were some like on all these sites, there are figures who also RateBeer is a little different than Tap In has discussion boards and all that. Yeah. Like Beer Advocate does, and there are some people who've been there a long time who said, "I'm done." People with 20,000 ratings who are now going to try to enter all those ratings. You can download your ratings. But to enter them all into Untapped that's a job in itself. Yeah. Like, I'm getting close to 8,000 and I don't want to re-enter 8,000 anywhere else.
So you're going to stick with RateBeer?
Yeah, but I'm okay because, I said this online in another person's thread, I have a lot of ideologies in life. A lot of things that I feel ideologically about. I don't know that I feel that ideological about beer ratings and beer in that sense that I'm protesting because...
Yeah.
I'll still go to Wicked Weed. And, for all the people who are upset about all these things, I know that they're excited about the Bourbon County stout releases that are going to be on later this year.
That's another thing I wanted to touch on is this whole buyout thing.
So, I mean, look, you choose in life to make yourself aware of who owns what, and then you choose whether or not to continue purchasing that based on the ownership. And nobody's going to do it in a pure, perfect manner. There are things we all buy without sometimes even realizing they're owned by a larger company.
Yeah.
Whether it's yogurt or a hamburger or a car or whatever it is. And when you realize it, then you have to decide, do I still want to purchase it? I don't have any problem with people saying I'm not going to go there anymore or be a part of that board.
Of course not.
In this particular case, I decide... I'm okay with it. If it was something else, I might say I'm not okay with it.
Now, playing devil's advocate, when Joe Schmo comes up to you and be like, "Oh, so you support AB InBev because you use RateBeer?" What is your opinion on that? Yeah,
but I also drink Bourbon County Stout like most people do, and I'll probably still stop at the pub in Wicked Weed on the way in Asheville. And I bought when I see a new Elysian on the shelf, I pick it up and try it. It's just not my holy.
Yeah.
It's not the place where I'm bearing my cross, I think. Maybe on other issues I am, but on this one I'm probably not.
Yeah. When Wicked Weed got bought out, there's a lot of breweries that have been bought out, that have been purchased by bigger companies, not just AB InBev, but other companies.
Do you drink Terrapin? It's owned by Miller.
Yeah, exactly right. Which is all AB InBev soon, but
that's right.
Yeah, but either way,
or Lagunitas. We all still. How many people in this town go crazy over Born Again yesterday?
Yeah.
Are you drinking Heineken now?
Yeah. And they actually sold out.
Sold the entire company?
They sold the entire company. They sold the remainder after the Wicked Weed takeover. Did you notice? Nobody mentioned it.
And probably because, and Jason and I talked about this a bit too, and Jason made a good point about the ethos of Wicked Weed, which is the credibility factor, which is very different from Lagunitas, which doesn't do those kind of high-end beers. I mean, they're known for the really cheap Bomber of Hop Stupid and really cheap IPAs, but are really quality, but low-price IPAs. Where Wicked Weed's known for high-priced sours and 500 milliliter bottles.
But it goes back to ethos. Also, they had this whole mantra that we are craft beer, and
but so did Tony
damn
McGee.
the man kind of thing.
But so did Tony McGee for years on Twitter. Would go on about corporate America, and then he sold out the Heineken.
I think it's fascinating. I think it's fantastic that people in the craft beer industry, these nerds and stuff, are so passionate about this business when you don't really see that in other industries. You don't see people actually get up in arms and want to picket because of a business decision.
For the most part, I don't think so. I think you don't pay attention to the food you buy at the grocery store. Yeah. And does Nabisco own it? Does another conglomerate own it? A lot of times you don't pay attention to that. But when it comes in the beer community, pay a lot of attention to the ownership of breweries, and because there's the kind, like you said, there's artisanal, there's the community, and also craft has for a long time promoted the narratives of both revolution. We're in a revolution against conglomerate America and against particularly InBev, and the community. And this is a community, and when you break out of that community and break the rules of that community, as we saw with the festival Wicked Weed was putting on. People get pissed off and they leave, and they don't want to be part of it. They don't want you in their community anymore. Yeah. And that's what happened. I don't think it's going to happen. It's going to be there forever. I think Wicked Weed will be back in the community within a year or so.
I think if they keep producing the way they have been, I mean, it could be the second coming of Bourbon County Stout from Goose Island, to where it's just like people eventually are kind of like, oh, we really hate that you are an Anheuser-Busch company, but we really like that beer you make. So we're gonna, I'm not gonna drink your pale ales and your IPAs, but I'm gonna head up and stand in line when you do a next sour release.
Really fretting over Goose Island anymore.
No. And they're AB InBev. I think it's fascinating, and I think it's at the same time almost kind of comical about how passionate we are. I say we because I'm part of this group.
I'm right there too.
That and when there's like a business decision, but I can't emphasize that enough. This is still a business decision. I mean, I wish somebody was trying to give somebody else money, for other.
I really wish Joe Tucker hadn't whatever amount of money he took for RateBeer. I wish he hadn't done it.
Yeah.
Just like I wish Wicked Weed hadn't sold out.
But my point is, this is like Joe Tucker had created RateBeer to make money. Right. He's generating traffic and selling ad revenue. Wicked Weed is selling beer to pay bills, so they need to make money.
Sam Calagione of Dogfish Head went online and said, "I want all my ratings pulled from RateBeer because of this." But here's one thing about Sam Calagione: he also took money. He just took it from private venture capitalists. He didn't take it from a large conglomerate, but he still took an investment.
Well, he's a different story. He did that for marketing.
He did it for marketing. It's all promote. You can't. First of all, you can't remove your ratings. Like you can't take your name off Yelp, and you can't take it off a travel advisor. But regardless, there are a lot of beer companies, like Founders too. Founders is owned, is it 40% or 30% by a Spanish conglomerate. A lot of these breweries they want to expand, they want to hire more people, they want to get more markets, so they need capital. They either go to a bank and go into debt, or they get a venture capitalist, or they get bought out.
Yeah. Do I agree with the concept?
Yeah.
I think it sucks. Do I, condemn the practice? I mean, in the end, it's still business.
Well, we've said a lot. Maybe too much.
You still haven't come up with a better end of show line. We've had like 3 months to do it.
I gotta say, it's good to have you back.
Yeah,
you look thinner.
It's good to be back.
Are you on a diet?
Yeah, your beard looks grayer.
I know. I'm like 86 years old.
I know. Yeah, you're aging like a year a day.
but I think it's good. It's COCBLOK. COCBLOK is back, baby.
Yes.
And,
until we're not for the.
Yeah, we don't know what's gonna happen next Monday,
we might not be here next.
But
no, I'm gonna make a concerted effort.
All right, we'll be here. We'll be here next Monday, same time, same place. Beautiful, beautiful Lexington, Kentucky on 93.9.